Hello, 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 and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Faith and Healing. Yes, this is our relaxed moment. Absolutely, absolutely. Welcome if you're just making it to the platform, if you're just making it to the broadcast, if you are just making it to the presentation. We want to welcome you this evening, as we always do, for one of our favorite presentations, Faith and Healing. You probably hear me say that on every presentation. It is okay, they're all my favorite. But I really, really do enjoy this part. It is so relaxing. It really is. And it just really, helps to just take the weight off and just do something a little different. But above all, to inform you, to teach you, to just give you information health wise that could totally help to shape things, in your life, and to be able to allow you to just enjoy healthy and good living. So, as we remind you on each faith and healing presentation, this is not by any means an opportunity to treat, to cure, or to diagnose any disease. We always encourage you to work along with a trained medical care professional, and to be able to get their wisdom and their expertise in the areas of health. When and if at all you discover that anything is potentially wrong with you, or you are suffering from any particular ailment, then in conjunction to whatever you are doing with your doctors, we do encourage you to make your food your medicines. And that is because foods are very, very, very important to how we are living, whether or not we are getting better. So, for instance, it is great for us to, be able to be treated for whatever it is we are dealing with. But diet plays a great part in how healthy we are and how healthy we remain. So, it is a wise thing to do, to be able to use your foods as a means of combating and fighting disease and illness and ailments, and to make that an everyday lifestyle and practice. But as I always, again, share with you, we're not trying to interfere with your medical process. We just want to help you to be a well rounded being, mentally, physically, emotionally, and of course, spiritually. Because God does not only desire that we would look great physically, that we would have great bodies, that we would be in great shape, and then when it comes, to our spiritual health, then we are not healthy there. He said he wishes above all things that we would prosper. He wants us to prosper in our relationships, in our friendships, in our finances, in our successes, our endeavors. He cares about every area of our lives. And he wants us to be able to find success in our lives. He wants us to prosper. But he said, do not prosper at the expense of your soul salvation. In other words, don't be very prosperous in other areas of life, but then as it relates to your spirituality, you're very unhealthy there. You're lacking there. You're lagging there. You're running behind. You're falling behind. So it's well roundedness. It's mind. So he cares about all your emotional and mental issues. Your body, he cares about all your physical issues. He wants you to look your best, feel your best. Yes, he does. He really, really does. And of course, spirit, mind, body, and spirit, a holistic approach to your overall life. And of course, as I always share with you, many times we may do our very best to be able to remain healthy, and you will find that things like stress factors, our lifestyle being so busy, probably not getting sufficient sleep, sufficient rest, all of those things tends to play a factor. And you know you will often find that even at our best attempts, sometimes we do still come down with certain things, and that is because there's so many things that could work against that. And our objective when that happens is not to beat up on ourselves and be self-critical and judgmental. It is to just find out, what can I do? What can I do to make it better? What can I do to not repeat that? How can I minimize this illness? How could I bring it in check? How could I bring it in balance? And I am of the belief that no matter what a person is suffering with, they have the ability to be able to bring health back into that. No matter how far gone it is. If you are still alive, if you are still functional, if you are battling anything with the right steps and the right practices, the right methods, the right adjustments, the right changes, I believe you can bring things back into balance. Whenever we become sick, it means that we have somewhat violated some aspect of the overall health process, whether it is mentally, physically, or spiritually. Whenever we become sick, we have somewhat violated something. It means that we somewhat, fell behind in an area. We didn't practice well in a particular area. But whenever we become sick, some kind of law, of the overall wellness law has been violated. It may not be on purpose, it may not be intentional, but it happens. And that is whether by not getting sufficient rest, not drinking enough water, not getting enough exercise, stressing too much, being too overworked, and all the other things that could play effect. So diet is absolutely important, but there are other factors that come into play. So once again, if you are new to our Faith and Healing broadcast, if you are just joining our platforms, you're just becoming acquainted with our ministry, this is an area of our ministry presentations that we absolutely enjoy sharing in with you, because not only do we get to relax together and sharing great ideas, with food and cooking, which we do have today because Thanksgiving is coming up. And while we're not going to be able to congregate the way that we have done in the past, but I don't want you to lose the spirit of being able to, keep a celebratory mind and still try to make it a warm experience, even though it is a very different kind of celebration this year. So we have some, recipes this evening. We are featuring baking. So tonight we're doing some things different. We're not doing our usual superfoods, although I will speak to you about the foods that we use, the choices for the baking needs that we have. Generally, people bake different things, but this is a season of, pies and breads and, different things like that. I gotta tell you though, boy, the baking, it is work. It definitely is work. With the other recipes that I do, they seem a lot less, challenging. They take less. Man, the baking is the working of the hands. It's the mixing. So very, very involved. I was like, wow, this definitely is a more involved process. But boy, when that oven went on with those different breads and the pie, oh man, the whole place just, I really wish, these are the moments that I really wish technology had a way for you to actually smell the things too. Maybe somebody's working on that right now. um, Maybe I just need to talk to God about that. Or maybe you could just go into your kind of like fantasy mind and see if you can just take in the smell, the aroma. I mean, it was so amazing. It just went right through the entire house. And that is one of the aspect of cooking that I really, really, really love, is putting something on the stove top or in the oven and have it just really take up, the ear space, because it smells so good. And that is what it felt like, preparing those things today. So like I said, we're not doing our usual teachings per se as we do on superfoods. However, I will be giving you some information about the food that I have chosen for our choices. So today we are featuring garlic breads, garlic scones rather, garlic scones. We are featuring zucchini bread and banana bread, and apple pie with a twist. And everything just looks so amazing. If you see here, this is our zucchini. This is our banana bread that is just filled with you know different things. It is just well, and of course we have an amazing apple pie here that I can't wait to cut into. That's the fun of living. The Word of God said that God, Jesus came that we might have life and have it in great abundance. I tell you this all the time. If we're going to be here, it's hard already. Just try to enjoy the journey. And good eating is a part of good living, enjoying food, eating well and making things enjoyable. So that is definitely one of my life treats to do that. And that is a tremendous blessing. So we are going to be and I just want to get some of my things up here. We are going to be looking at the banana bread as a choice. And we've talked about banana as a superfood. It really has some great benefits. It's rich in antioxidants. It's manganese in banana, that is very great for the skin. And the reason why it is important when you're doing breads and pies to not just make things for the purpose of making it, but to bake things and choose baking options that also provides great health benefits. It also helps with blood pressure issues, blood sugar issues, digestive issues. Can you imagine that? It always fascinates me because here it is that we eat those things, and to us they taste good, which is great, but just learning the level of benefits that you get just by putting a fruit in your mouth. That seems so simple, and yet you can get all of those things for it. But above all, it's actually a great energy booster. I mean, did you know that? Imagine that. It helps with energy if you're feeling tired, worn out, lagging, lackadaisical in your everyday movement. It might be helpful to grab a banana a day. They tell us an apple a day keeps the doctors away. An apple is definitely a superfood, and we have an amazing apple pie here today. But definitely, banana also is great at giving those health benefits. So that is something you want to also keep in mind. We have zucchini bread. Okay, so that is something that is a great option. Zucchini is very high in antioxidants, and once again, what we are promoting and what we are encouraging rather is that if you're going to bake this season, which you probably will, you're going to be enjoying all this good food. We want to encourage you to make them healthy options. So don't just bake bread for the purpose of just mixing flour and having a nice loaf. I mean, that's okay too. But you can also bake options that are helping your health in some way. You're getting some kind of benefit from what you are eating. Zucchini also aids and helps with digestion. So there are many people who suffer with digestive issues. Zucchini is a food that can certainly help in reducing that or bringing that into balance. And would you know that it actually also is very helpful in reducing blood sugar? So if you are a diabetic, you know, looking at this evening, zucchini is a food that you certainly would like to add to the diet. Because we know that with imbalances in blood sugars, that could lead to a host of so many other health complications and problems. So if you are diabetic, blood sugar is something you always want to ensure that is being kept within control. And how great to know that there are incredible foods that are able to do that. And who would have thought that zucchini is one of those things? So that is something that you definitely would want to add to the diet. Now, were you also aware that zucchini also improves heart health? If you're a cardiovascular patient this evening, if you are battling heart issues, of course, every heart is not created equal. People with heart disease have various kinds of issues of heart disease. That may be clogged arteries or plaque in the arteries. People have had to have surgery, congestive heart failure. Some people have valve issues. Some people have holes in their heart. So every heart is not created equal. Some things are genetic. Some people, that's a history in their family of heart conditions and heart disease. Some people have heart murmurs and fast paced beating hearts. There's so many heart conditions. However, we are learning that zucchini is very helpful in the maintenance and improvement of heart health. And I think that is good to know. You know, that there is actually a food that has the ability to work on the heart. Something I believe we can all appreciate this evening, especially those of us who are getting older, as we begin to get older and get into our years. The beautiful journey of being, for those in their 40s, and moving on up in their years. There definitely are some things that we can appreciate with zucchini, and it is that we definitely can get some improvement in our vision health. Now the truth is, you could lose your vision at any point. There are children who have vision issues, so it's not always age related, but that definitely is one of the areas where we begin to, I mean, I've worn glasses for many, many, many years now. So it's not always age related. But whatever the reason is, we are learning that zucchini has the ability to improve the vision. And I think that's very good to know, because usually, whenever we think about a food that helps the vision, we tend to think of carrots. And that's probably one of the probably most frequent that we know, or the most known food that we know that actually helps the vision is carrot. But zucchini apparently is doing a phenomenal job in helping with vision as well. And something that I believe especially women could appreciate, it is very helpful to weight loss issues and weight management. Wow. Now you wouldn't have thought that with zucchini, that it had this property and ability that is able to, you know, help with weight loss. So again, if you are, you know, wanting to bring balance in that area, and you know that this season of Thanksgiving, where we end up, totally eating a lot more than we usually would, because it's a festive season, a celebratory season, where you're cooking and you're feeling that spirit of doing different things. If you are concerned that you want to stay within your balance of your weight range, why not eat a bread rather than just have any bread? Why not add zucchini to the menu this season, and see how that helps you to basically maintain your weight coming out of that big celebration. I think usually everybody knows Thanksgiving into December that you're definitely going to be probably packing on, a few more pounds, because we're celebrating, we're going to events, we're entertaining. I know I definitely appreciate those seasons, just to be with family, to be with friends, to just accept invitations, with people that you want to spend time with, and just enjoying those times, the new year. So these are the times when we are more likely to consume more than we would on a regular basis. So I believe if we're going to be doing that, of course, like I said, this year is a different year because now we are forced to isolate. Families have to be discussing, how to make this work safely, because we don't want to be so focused on celebrating, a holiday, that we make the mistake of not being safe and then not be here for another holiday. So I'm hoping that we are also being wise in exercising the right amount of caution, and if at all there are decisions to meet with family and friends to minimize the gatherings so that we can all remain healthy as we see this new surge with this virus continuing to grow at very rapid rates and numbers. But whether you are doing this minimally this year, or you may even end up having to be alone because your families cannot come together, you can still make the season one to appreciate. I'm sure you will be doing things virtually, which is great. But the goal is certainly to, whatever we do, to do it healthily. And of course, in this particular season of life, the pandemic season of life, to also be able to do it very, very safely. So if we can keep those factors, present and in mind, we definitely might be able to accomplish some, really great things in this season of life that we were not able, that would otherwise probably not be possible had we not make those wise and healthy choices. And of course, when we're by ourselves and we tend to be isolated, people do tend to, eat more, because it becomes like a comfort. So we do also encourage you to just do the best that you can to still be moderate in your consumptions. Just to make sure that you're still happy with yourself and satisfied, because sometimes we make decisions and then we end up not being satisfied because we got stressed out and ate too much, and now we packed on, a size that we're not happy with, and then you're depressed and then you don't feel good. And we wouldn't want that to be your story. We want to encourage you, whatever you do, to try to keep it within balance. I always believe balance and moderation is the key. And of course, there are the moments when you do kind of go outside your balance range, and it happens to the best of us. Nobody is on track that perfectly. Nobody. Okay, now we may try to keep things within balance, and it is okay. I think it is also, it's a good way to be able to live life, by being able to not be so hard on yourself when you mess up and you make mistakes, because look, that is what makes us human, right? Of course, some mistakes, all mistakes are not created equal. Some carry greater weight, some consequences are greater, repercussions are greater, resolve and results are greater. So every mistake is not created equal. However, it is okay to be human. That is not a passport to go out there and just live crazily. However, you can take solace in the fact that, you God give room for us to just be real, and to be human, to cry, to laugh, to make mistakes, to not get everything right, and to not do everything perfectly. And there is a level of a release of pressure that comes from that, by the way. That you're not living life in the straight jacket, that you can enjoy the journey. Yes, you're very spiritual because you love God, you want to be able to walk that walk, and that is beautiful, that is very important, that should be key. Okay, however, at the same time, you want to be a human, you want to be able to be with your family, be with your friends, you want to live, you want to laugh, you want to pray, you want to have fun, and you want to be a person. You want to be a person because you are living life on the earth. You are a person, I am a person. So we want to encourage you to, in your humanness, don't go overboard. However, just relax and enjoy the journey and try not to put so much pressure on yourself. All right, so that we can be here a little longer for each other and for our families. Well, we have some recipes today that we're going to be sharing with you. And I have also created some desserts that I am looking forward to share with you as well. So we will be sharing with you also the recipes, within the presentation now, even though you do get to them, through the running of the program, but we also want to just share with you some of the ingredients that we actually used in some of in the recipes that we had today. So for the zucchini bread, we incorporated a quarter cup of veggie oil or olive oil, your healthy version. Some grated lemon peel that would probably equivalent to so you want to have probably a half cup of that, and then the lemon juice you're going to be using for the actual recipe. We're going to be using ground flaxseed in place of eggs. Okay, now if you're a lover of eggs, that's on you. However, there is a healthy alternative and option to that, and it is flaxseed. This is ground flaxseed, and I'm just going to give you a little. So this is really, really good. It's grounded very nicely. This is, what it would look like. And if you notice, it just falls very well. So this is the ground flaxseed that I usually would use. You can use that in the place of egg, because the egg is really for binding the baking, and the flaxseed actually does that very well. Also, I don't really promote or use sugar, but I know most people do. If you are going to use sugar for the recipe instead of a liquid, which is maple syrup or honey, then use brown sugar, cane sugar, or coconut sugar instead of the white sugar. Those are healthier versions and healthier options. Of course, we definitely need zucchini if we're going to do zucchini bread. So we have zucchini here, and this is the kind of you don't want it to be grated too mushy, so you want to use the part of your processor or your grater that gives you the larger flakes, you see, and then it comes out very spacious and dry. So this is the texture and the shape that you want for your zucchini for your bread option. All right, so if you notice, this is the larger size on the grater. Also, you want to be able to add to that some baking powder, and you want the healthier version of that. Okay, so you want to get the baking powder. Again, I'm not promoting any brands, so you just get the healthier version of the baking powder, and you tend to get those in the health food store. So you can use that. Also, a quarter teaspoon of salt. Yes, believe it or not, sugar, salt in that same recipe. And optional, you can also use some walnuts, and I believe I have some here. So you can use walnuts as an option, and you can do about a cup of that chopped. Okay, so that really makes it really changes. It's a game changer, having the walnut in. And so this is your zucchini bread ingredients. You will basically preheat your oven to about 350, and you bake for about an hour. in the oven. Of course, you mix all those ingredients in, grease your pan very nicely, and put that in together. Make sure everything is nicely and well mixed. You put that in, grease the pan, or you can use a spray, cooking spray oil, and you put it in for 1 hour or until nice and golden brown. I like it very brown, and we'll see that in a minute when we get it cut. So that was your option for the zucchini bread. Now we are going to talk about the banana bread. So our ingredients are, you want to have a cup and a third of mashed ripe banana, or about three ripe bananas. All right, three medium-sized bananas. You want to have a tablespoon of flaxseed. Again, that is because of the binding effect. If you do not want to use eggs and you want to remain on the healthier side, and you don't do dairy, then or you don't do flesh, you don't eat meat or anything, if you're vegetarian, fully vegan, and you're not going to do eggs, then flaxseed is a good option to bind things, and to make, give you the binding effect that eggs usually do. And you would do a tablespoon of the flaxseed. You would do a third of a cup of orange juice. You can do freshly squeezed orange, or you can do the 100% orange juice that you usually would get in the store. A third cup of olive or other healthy version of an oil. 2 tablespoons of molasses. Again, the unsulfured version is definitely the healthier option. And you can do a teaspoon of vanilla. Typically, people from the islands, tropics, they like to use this when they are baking. It definitely was something that we grew up with. So you can do also a teaspoon of that. And you can add to that, for additional dry ingredients, a cup of raisin, 2 cups of crushed cornflakes, and I have the cornflakes there. You wouldn't have thought that you would put something like that in banana, but you actually do. So this is, I have 1 cup, so you double that, and that would be the cornflakes. You break it up. You can put it in a Ziploc bag and use a roller and break it up until it is fine enough, but not too fine. You don't want it to be like powdery. You still want it to have some little, a bit of flakiness to it. So this is corn flakes. Imagine that in your banana bread. It definitely gives it an excellent flavor. So the crushed cornflakes, a half teaspoon of cinnamon, there, and a teaspoon of baking powder, a quarter teaspoon of salt, and 1.5 cup of whole wheat flour, if that is your option, or you can use another whole grain flour or all purpose flour, but unbleached. You want to get the healthier versions. Or you can even use, I have here almond flour, and you can also use coconut flour. So these are also other options that you can use for your baking, your baking needs. And just pulling up again here my detail. And you want to again add walnuts. That is optional. The walnuts are optional, and you would do 1/2 cup. Once again, you would preheat the oven to 350. You mix all your ingredients together, and you put in the oven, and you bake for about an hour. So right there, you already have 2 recipes that are on the same timer. That definitely makes life a bit easier. So you don't have to be putting one in, take the other out, and then it becomes complicated. Nobody wants life to be complicated right now. It is complicated as it is. Easy does it. The simpler, the better, right? So definitely we want to keep that in mind. Of course, apple is a superfood. We've talked about it before. That is one of the reasons why I didn't go into too much detail about it tonight, but we know that it is rich in so many things: That is why it is said that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Helps regulate so many things: cell health, heart health, sugar health. I mean, antioxidant, skin health, you name it, and you can get it out of an apple. Amazing, amazing, amazing food. If you're going to make a pie, why not make it an apple pie? And why not make it one that actually is, extra delicious by adding some added things to it. So you can definitely use the regular crust that you would in the stores. If you want to do that, you can make your own crust. And of course, there are many recipes that you can download for making and creating crust. But we do have a crust recipe here: 2 cups of all-purpose flour. You need a little more for dusting. A tablespoon again of sugar, preferred brown sugar, coconut sugar, cane sugar, or maple syrup or honey if you are not the sugar person, okay? But we try to be understanding of where you are, and we give you the healthier options if you're not gonna do the liquid option. A teaspoon of cinnamon powder, half a teaspoon of nutmeg for those who have that or use that, and a cup of butter, healthy version. My choice is Smart Balance. There are other healthy options out there. You can choose that. And you have that cubed and chilled. So you want the butter to be chilled, cold enough. And then you use about 6 tablespoons of ice water. You mix all of that in, use your hands, make that into a nice dough, and that becomes your crust. You roll out on a board with your rolling pin, and then you spread it on the bottom of your pie container until it fills the entire bottom and all of the inside. And you can even allow a bit of that to come up on the outside so that you can get a full crust effect if that is your desire. And so that would be your crust. For your filling, you want 7 or so Granny Smith apples. The green apples are great also because they are firm. You want them to be very firm. 2 cups of sugar. Again, the healthier option would be maple syrup or honey, but if you're going to use sugar, you can use those other healthier options: brown, cane, or coconut sugar. Half a cup of coconut cream or milk. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch if you have that. 3 tablespoons of cinnamon. Again, some nutmeg. A tablespoon of coconut oil, and mix with a tablespoon of milk. And you put all of those together with the apple and mix up for a nice sweet savor. You mix everything in, you pour into your crust. You can use your crust for both top and bottom. Today, our crust is not the regular or usual crust. Our crust was created from oatmeal, mashed walnuts, butter, and and made into a mashed crust and just drop to the top. So we didn't use the usual crusting that you would see when the top of the apple pie is covered. What we have is just the flaky crust top that we just dropped on the top, and everything just works its way in, and it is absolutely amazing. And that is also baked for an hour. So what we are about to do now is to sample some of our options. We are going to do that, right away. So, here we do enjoy the process of being able to taste the things that we make. So I am going to slice a little of each of the things that were created. And then I have here a dessert option that we will be serving with the pies and the breads that we have. And this is coconut cream with some, you can use sweet milk, but again, a healthy option of that. So you have coconut cream with some sweet milk. I do also have some coconut flakes, the sweetened version. And I have some berries that were worked on the stovetop with some honey. And we're about to see, how that plays out. So I'm gonna start off with cutting into the apple pie, and that is pretty nice and crisp. So that is really great. Already looking very good. We have somewhat of a clean finish. So that looks really, really, really awesome. Okay. And now I am going to add to this, option here. Make sure you can see this. I want to add to it now a piece of the zucchini bread, which is looking quite delicious. Wow. You see, this turned out pretty good. We're going to put this right here. My Lord. I have a feeling those things are going to be in heaven. You know, that welcome table that we talk about all the time? I think the food is going to be amazing, and I can't wait. I think it's going to be really, really awesome and really great. So now we have some zucchini, some banana bread. We already had. And if you see, this banana bread is just filled with orange juice and the corn flakes and the walnuts, and I mean, it's so rich. So I'm going to put each here. And now for the good part, So first what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our coconut cream. We're going to put it right here on the apple pie. Right here on the zucchini bread. And then I'm going to put some on the banana bread. And then with that, I'm going to take some of my berries antioxidant blend in our honey made into a syrup on the stovetop. And I'm going to put a bit here, right there, my Lord. Precious Lord. And then we're going to add. And now for the good part, the coconut flakes. Well, let me show this to you before I dig into it. Okay, so this is what your dessert would look like. You can serve that, with the family. Here you have apple pie, you have the banana bread, but because they are so rich, they're not coming out like the regular bread because there's so much awesome ingredients in there that is allowing them to almost feel like a nice cake, but you can still cut into it and it's soft and it's moist and it's rich. My Lord, I'm about to test this. And this is what you get coming out of this option. You can serve that to your guests. And there you have the coconut cream with some sweetened milk that is mixed into a nice cream. And then you put that on the top and you add the berries and then you drop the coconut flakes, and you have just created a very healthy dessert. Now I want you to bear with me while I just take a dig into this. Oh my Lord. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, and let me stand. That is awesome. Well, my friends, I hope you have enjoyed getting some great ideas to go into your holiday. It's a difficult season of life, it's a challenging season of life. We've all felt it. We've been isolated from friends, from family, from the people that we love. The things we would ordinarily do, fly, drive, and go to meet the people that we want to be with, we can't really do that. That is hurtful. It is painful. It is difficult. However, we want to be wise and we want to be able to at least be safe this year so we can be around for many other years. But if you're going to be home, I encourage you to make it still as best as you can. Don't go into that depressive thought. Do what you can. If you can't have 10 people, at least have 2 people. Practice safety and still make it a nice occasion. And to our spiritual implication, the Word of God talks about fellowship, being able to be in fellowship and what it means. That's why we have churches. The church is not perfect. God knows it is not perfect because the people in it are not perfect people. So it's never going to be a perfect place. However, the church was God's establishment as an agency for salvation through which he would save souls. But above all, it was also a place where he took care of people. It was a place where through the church, he would meet the needs of the community of faith and believers. So God forbid your house burns down. The church shows up and they bring you care packages and they support you. God forbid you are sick and it is at a time when visitation is okay. We know this is a different season of life. But the members come and they visit with you and they bring balloons and they bring cards and they pray. Sometimes even when the biological family doesn't show up, the church family shows up. And also, if they can't come, they probably will call and somebody cooks a meal and they bring it. So this season of life where we're giving thanks, we want to give God thanks for our families. We want to give God thanks for our friendships, for our relationships, as imperfect as they are. They are God's gift to us to let us realize that we shouldn't take anything or anyone for granted. So our spiritual implication in this season of life, as we are coming into the holiday season in the upcoming week, we really want to begin that time of celebration even now and to be able to look forward to that moment. The word said in all things we are to give thanks. In everything we are to give thanks. And even in this very bad season of life, we can still find something that we can be thankful for. So I want to encourage you that, whatever you are feeling or experiencing, and I want to encourage myself to not give in to that pain, hurt, loneliness, feeling isolated, but look for the things that you are thankful for in this season. That in spite of how bad the year has seemed to be, what are you thankful for? What can you look at and say to God, it's not been the greatest year, but I am still so thankful for this. I am still so thankful for that. I am so thankful for this person in my life who checks up on me, who makes sure I have my needs. And so in this moment, as I pray, that you continue to remain in that spirit of gratitude, I just want to say thank you to you out there for your support of the ministry. I want to say thank you to my family for being such a great support in this different ministering season of life. I want to especially say a thank you to my closest and best of friends who go out of their way to ensure that God uses them to check up on me, make sure that needs are met, and that I am not further isolated from the isolation that we are all dealing with. So whoever you are out there, wherever you are, I want to encourage you to be strong in the Lord and to look for reasons to be thankful in the season, no matter how difficult the season of life is. And well, we've come to the end of our presentation on faith and healing for this evening. And so until next time, I encourage you to continue to just keep the faith, and we will see you for our next edition of Faith and Healing. Enjoy your baking recipes and have a wonderful preparatory season as we enter that phase of the year. God bless you.